Hi, my name is Jim Connolly. I'm the Garden Center Manager here at Weston Nurseries in Chelmsford. A lot of shrubs and trees that we sell bloom in April, May, and into June. And a lot of customers buy those plants because they're looking for that spring color. There's a group of azaleas that Weston Nurseries introduced, and they call them the summer blooming azaleas. Wayne Mezitt, third generation, and his father, Ed, did a lot of propagating and breeding, crossing all different types of azaleas, and came up with a long list of these types that bloom in the summer. All of them are deciduous, so that means they'll have their leaves come out in the springtime. Their leaves have a beautiful fall color, shades of orange and red, so you've got that beautiful fall color. And then almost every single one of them has a fragrance, and some have more intense fragrance than others. So the planting location for this would be like a part sun, could even take full sun. Look for it near the house where you can get that nice aroma kind of spreading into the kitchen area or the den. And it's a plant that would look good by itself, or you could do a massing of them. And there's so many different colors to pick from, which is another advantage with going with them. So first one I want to talk about is a native azalea. That's not a Weston introduction. It's the parent of many of these introductions. It's called Azalea viscosum. That's the scientific name. The common name is swamp azalea. Because it's a native, it's found near swamps, so it likes a moister soil. It has this beautiful white flower in late June, early July, and it's very fragrant. So, and one thing I forgot to mention, most all of these will grow in that 4 to 8 foot range. You can trim and kind of maintain them to a certain height if you want, but they're not going to stay like 2 foot tall. So expect some height out of them in the landscape. So Pink and Sweet is one of Weston's introductions that has a very light pink flower. And when it blooms, it's a very fragrant flower. And you can see the throat has just a little bit of a creamy color to it where the pistils are. So that's Pink and Sweet, okay? Lollipop, unlike the Pink and Sweet, which here's the Pink and Sweet, the Lollipop has a little bit deeper pink flower. And as the flowers do emerge, you might see on them some kind of a orangey kind of throat, okay? Some of these are coming in and some of them aren't. So this is the Lollipop right here, okay? This is called Weston's Innocence, and you can see it's very similar to the swamp azalea. It's a white flower. The swamp azalea probably is more of a June bloomer, where this would be more of a July bloomer. So the advantage of this is you're gonna get that later bloom into the summertime. Again, nice red fall color, white flower, very fragrant. The yellow one is called Lemonrop, and you can see it's kind of like a creamy yellow flower. And as the flowers open up, you can see the difference between some of these. The flowers on this are closer to the center of where the new growth is that came out this year, whereas some of them, the flower comes before the new growth is actually emerging, or after the new growth emerged. So it does vary from one plant to the next. And you can see the buds are almost golden in color as well. This one right here is called Millennium. So this one's a little bit more on the red tone. And you can see that beautiful red flower with the pistils. Isn't that beautiful? And I tell you, if the camera could smell the intense fragrance that I'm getting from all of these azaleas is amazing. You cannot enjoy this video without actually coming to the Weston Nurseries Garden Center and taking a smell of these plants. So the next one here I have is called Popsicle. The Pink and Sweet, the Lollipop, the Popsicle are all different pink shades. You can see the flowers on these have a little bit more clustering to the flowers, which is a little different. You know, back in the 60s and 70s, when a lot of these azaleas were being named, they just picked whatever names that came to them. There was no science to it. God rest his soul, Wayne Mezitt, who passed away last year. If he was around today, he would tell us a little bit about why a lot of these names came to be. And unfortunately, that is lost at this point, unless some of the older horticulturists that worked at Weston Nurseries know. One of the azaleas that Wayne told a story to me a couple of years ago was this one called Pennsylvania. There was a nursery trade show every year in July that happened in Pennsylvania. So Weston Nurseries would go there to exhibit for the trade. And one of the guys said to Wayne, what azalea should we put in the booth? And he said, oh, why don't you take that one there? And it had a number assigned to it. And they said, what should we call it? He said, hey, let's call it Pennsylvania because we're going to Pennsylvania. So as you can see, a lot of the names on some of these azaleas and many of the introductions that Weston Nurseries came by whatever felt at the time. The Pennsylvania is an azalea that has a flower that will be coming out in a couple more weeks as it hasn't bloomed yet. I hope you all enjoyed all the different types of summer blooming azaleas that are available that Weston Nurseries introduced. A lot of these are available at our garden centers. There's one last azalea that I want to talk about before I sign off for today, and this one is a prunifolium cultivar, and it's called Henry's Triumph. And Henry's Triumph is named after an employee of Weston Nurseries by the name of Henry Schmidt. And Henry has been working for Weston over 50 years. He's still employed with us. He works part-time down in the Hopkinton Garden Center. And it is a tribute that they could name an azalea after him, and it's still working for us, which is something to be said about Henry. I'd like to thank him for all of his hard work over the years. So Henry's Triumph is another beautiful summer blooming azalea that you can get at Weston Nurseries. So these are different plants that can give you some summer color, fall color with the fall interest. The swamp azalea can take a little moisture soil, part sun to part shade, in that 4 to 8 foot height range, 3 to 5 foot width range. Something to think about for that planting project that you want to give some color in your yard. It's Jim signing off, and until the next video, thanks for listening. And if you have any comments, leave them down below.